country, it shouldn't be a dangerous place to live or to visit.
Condeni, interviewed by the Salem Radio Network. Despite new evidence, President Obama instigated the Russiagate hoax to undermine then-candidate Donald Trump. Constitutional attorney Mark Weaver says it's doubtful the former president will be indicted.
Not Obama. President Trump's case in front of the U.S. Supreme Court makes it pretty clear that presidents have immunity for things they do in office. So I don't think Obama's at risk.
But Weaver told the Salem Radio Network a number of other high-profile Obama subordinates could be indicted. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, this is Rhett Rasmussen of BestHotGrill.com. We make the Solaire infrared grills, which are perfect for today's busy lifestyles. You're probably in your car right now, wondering what you'll have for dinner tonight. Imagine that when you get home, your Solaire infrared grill will be at 1,000 degrees in 3 minutes. That's right, just 3 minutes. The high heat locks in the juices and flavor and grills faster, so that in a matter of minutes, you could be sitting down to a great tasting grilled dinner any and every night of the week. Your smoker or low-slow barbecue is great for the weekend, but the hot, fast speed and convenience of Solaire infrared grills make them your everyday go-to grill. And they aren't just for searing steaks. Solaire infrared grills also enhance fish, chicken, pork, shrimp, veggies, and fruit. Virtually everything your family enjoys. Learn more at besthotgrill.com. That's besthotgrill.com. Solaire infrared at besthotgrill.com.
It's the 100th anniversary of the Associated Press's Football All-America team.
Nearly 2,000 players have earned the honor. Desmond Howard, a former Heisman Trophy winner, recalls when selections were announced by a comedy icon.
I used to watch the Bob Hope All-American specials, and those were just the coolest.
Some schools honor their All-Americans in unique ways. Retired Ohio State three-time All-America linebacker James Laurinaitis.
This is Buckeye Grove, which is an awesome tradition here at The Ohio State University, just where when you become an All-American, first-team All-American, they will plant a tree for you in your honor.
I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
And to mark the occasion, the AP has named its all-time team. Ohio State and Pittsburgh each placing 3 players on the AP all-time All-America football team. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. Guy Sirocco says all progressive values seem to be based on one fundamental assumption.
That all prior cultures were flawed. All prior cultures, all prior thought was lacking, especially if it's a Western civilization or North American thing.
And China's economy showing signs of slowing in July as factory output and retail sales slowed and housing prices dropped off.
Uncertainty over tariffs on exports to the US is still looming over manufacturers after President Donald Trump extended a pause in sharp hikes in import duties following a 90-day pause. Oxford Economics' Shiana Yui writes in a study, exports remain a bright spot in China, although the boost from front-loading appears to be tapering off and has started to show up in weak industrial production, as we'd anticipated.
That is correspondent Charles de la Desma reporting. You'll find more on these stories at townhall.com.
Are you dreaming of a getaway? Want to leave the stress of daily life behind? Whether it's a relaxing cruise or an adventurous land escape, planning the perfect vacation doesn't have to be a hassle. At Cruises International, they specialize in vacation destinations, land and sea, making your dreams come true. Located at 1721 Moon Lake Boulevard in Hoffman Estates, Cruises International isn't just about booking travel. They're your personal concierge, trusted travel advisor, and advocate. Your preferences are unique, and they'll take the time to understand exactly what you're looking for. From personalized service to their global network of specialists, they ensure that your vacation is tailor-made just for you. It's time to plan the vacation of a lifetime. Call 800-255-7447. That's 800-255-7447 today and speak to a cruise and vacation expert. Cruises International. It's time to set sail to your dream destination.
It's time to wake up and get on the rise with all things Chicago sports. And your host, Mike Napolitano.
I'm Italian. I get yelled at all the time. This is normal for me. Are you kidding me? I love it.
With the Italians, we get really high, we get really emotional, and then we bring it right back down. And I'm just in the right back down part right now.
Dalton Cooper.
I think this is the year. I think this is the year he throws for over 4,000 yards. I think Ben Johnson has an understanding of how to take a quarterback and elevate. We've seen what he's done with Jared Goff. Obviously, Jared Goff had gotten to Super Bowl, and he was working with Sean McVay, but.
And Brandon Combs.
And to tell me that a guy in Barry Bonds, who in 2004 has more hits and intentional walks than swings and misses. For a guy who watches Luis Robert and cheers him on, you're going to tell me Barry Bonds does not belong in the Hall of Fame? You are out of your mind, sir.
On WRMN 1410 AM, the voice of the Valley.
Welcome into another edition of On the Rise here on Saturday, August 16th, 8 a.m. right here from Studio 14, AM 1410 WRMN. Mike Napolitano here alongside Nick Johnston. The two, we've been holding it down for some time here now.
You know it.
Of course, Brandon Combs dealing with some personal stuff, so best thoughts and wishes out to him as he'll rejoin us soon in the near future. And then, of course, I believe we should be hearing from Dalton Cooper in a little while. But, Nick, how are you doing?
All good. Had a late night with the dogs. That was fun. That was always good to get a little independent baseball in, obviously. But, yeah, overall, not too shabby. Obviously, football's back. Exciting. It's back. Can't wait.
Football is back. We have so much going on in the city of Chicago today. Of course, Brandon Combs was our correspondent at UFC. I'm not sure if that is really happening this weekend, so we were going to bring you some gigantic news with the fact that UFC has come to Chicago.
Well, the event's happening. We just don't know if we're covered.
Right, yeah. So we're gonna see how that plays out, and then maybe we'll get some information next week on that. Maybe we could sprinkle some in here today too, but we won't have Brandon to bring that to you. But a lot going on in the city of Chicago and elsewhere with teams on the move, teams traveling.
Oof.
However, if you were anywhere near downtown yesterday, I'm so sorry for you. And I'm one of those people, but I know how to get in and get out if I do say so myself. There was the Air and Water show. There was UFC. I think there was a Tate McRae concert because I saw she posted "Thank you, Chicago." I didn't know that was happening. I thought
I don't even know who that is. Respectfully,
she's a Canadian singer. Well, she's pop singer. She's worldwide now, but she's originally from Canada. So.
Does she have some famous pop TikTok song out right now or something?
She's Greedy. Have you heard that song? Don't Get Greedy. No. Okay. All right. Well. Anyways, I'm gonna stop it there before I go too far because she's gorgeous. Anyways, what else is going on? Oh yeah, Savannah Banana Baseball is in town for the first time in history. But also we have our regular teams, and who was in town last weekend was the Chicago Bears as they opened up the preseason against the Miami Dolphins. We were kind of previewing who we thought were going to win. The spread was set at 3. So it was practically one of those preseason games where, could go either way, and it didn't go either way. It was a 24-24 tie. So the Bears tying with the Dolphins after frustrating the Dolphins in that split practice that they had earlier that week. You get Alexander Mattinson a 1-yard rush to kick things off in the second quarter, but it's the Bears that respond late in the quarter with a Maurice Alexander 4-yard pass from Tyson Bagent. Cairo Santos puts in the extra point with the kick. Jalen Wright, a 7-yard rush to put the Dolphins back up top. But before the half, Cairo Santos, a 57-yard field goal. So the Bears were only down 14-10. And then in the third quarter, it was another 4-yard pass, this time from Case Keenum. Deion Hankins, gets in for a touchdown early on in the third quarter. Late in the third quarter to put the Bears up, give them their first lead of the preseason. The Dolphins would respond in the fourth quarter with an Ollie Gordon rush, and then it was Jade Walker, a 14-yard pass from Case Keenum that put the Bears back on top. They just weren't able to hold it with a Jason Sanders 56-yard field goal, but that Cairo Santos field goal, 57 yards. So the Bears... The mainstay Bears, of course, you had your role players in this game with your depth pieces and your second stringers, your third stringers. But the Maine Bears, do they look mid-season form already? Is that the case here?
I thought so right away with the first play being a sack by on Tyson Bagent. So yeah, I figured that was right away. Bears were in mid-season form. No, some of the bigger takeaways from my end from this game. Obviously, you weren't going to see everything. You didn't see any of the starters, obviously. But that Tyson Bagent touchdown on the back of the end zone, I thought that was a really, really just impressive sighting right there. Again, wasn't a big game for Tyson Bagent, obviously with just one score and an interception. So that my whole idea of like, hey, was this going to be the Bears' opportunity to get some trade baits, some trade opportunity for Tyson Bagent, or just to get some stock there? Didn't seem like that was the case, but it was really nice to see. Obviously, Kyle Monangai, who we were kind of mentioning earlier in the week, like, hey, young kid, about 4th or 5th on the depth chart when he was getting some pretty high praise. So good to see that he was the leading rusher on 30 yards with only 6 attempts. So that was pretty good, decent right there. But yeah, honestly, one of my bigger takeaways was obviously in the Windy City, in the windy tundra that is Soldier Field, 57 yards for Cairo Santos. That's a perfect preseason field goal. That's just a get right field goal. There's a confidence builder right there. And again, it's nothing flashy. It's only 3 points, but again, in the tough environment that it is to kick in Soldier Field, that is a huge point right there. So that was awesome to see from a big boot from Cairo Santos.
The criticism that came out of this week one, of course, it's not a whole lot of criticism when you tie, because you didn't lose, you didn't win ugly, you didn't win outright, and then, fans start going, well, maybe these are the starters, right? But that was part of the discussion, was when are we going to see the starters? And a lot of people thought it would be at home, because the Bears' next 2 preseason games are going to be on the road. However, you do tend to save a lot of your starters till late in the preseason due to injuries. You got to get them a little bit of time in there, but you also don't want to battle injuries at the start of the season. Do you think against, of course, still preseason, so maybe second stringers and third stringers, but a tougher Bills team, a playoff stature Bills team, do you think we start to see a few more Chicago Bears starters? And if so, who could you possibly see in Sunday night's matchup against the Bills?
Yeah, you would hope you're going to get the first stream offense on at least a full drive. You're not going to see a full quarter. Well, actually, you might see it. You would maybe try and see a full quarter, considering you're only going to get 2 more preseason games. I would think if you didn't do any starters in the first, try and do a first quarter, try and get the number ones in there on both offense and defense, and then game 2 probably get them for at least a full half, almost up until that point. That would probably be the goal, at least in my mind. But obviously, Ben Johnson's going to have his own little game plan, his own little time of projection. I think there was a mixture all over the place. A lot of reactions of, why aren't the starters starting? Why aren't if the preparation is so dire, why aren't the starters in there? And it was a mixture of exactly that. It's just like, should there be preparation? Should there be like an oomph to get prepped, or is that in the back of idea, like, you know what? If they're not ready just yet, let's not embarrass them, and let's not throw them out there if they're not ready. On top of that, that same deal of just like, you don't want to get hurt. So, of course, injuries happen at any point in time, but you don't want to go down week 1 of preseason.
Right, yeah. And I don't think the Buffalo Bills will have too many. I mean, this is a home game. This is the second preseason game, so you might see a few more starters for them, but I don't think they're going to be.
I don't think the Bills had any of their starters go in the first game.
No, I don't.
I know they're so far they're on Hard Knocks, which has been okay. It's been an okay Hard Knocks so far. I would argue it's a little on the dull side, but yeah, I didn't really see anything.
Pick up. Maybe it might pick up a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. The first episode was them walking around an empty stadium, talking about all the. This is where this is going to go.
How riveting!
Yeah, this is where the salon is going to go. This
hypothetically.
Is where exactly. Well, my favorite thing was the owner of the Bills in a saying that you're probably going to hear all summer long, or they're talking about like the wind being such an issue. Obviously, the same thing in Soldier Field that it might be over in Buffalo. He goes, "Yeah, we scienced that out. We scienced the wind out." Like, that's such a great phrase that I'm just going to use forever now.
We scienced that out.
We scienced that out.
Yes, of course.
Great.
Right, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're mixing concoctions in the Bills locker room to make sure that the wind doesn't hit the field.
But quickly on the Dolphins side of thing, the only major takeaway from watching or just, getting back and pulling back, Alexander Mattison obviously gets that rushing touchdown, but he goes down he's going to be on the IR. He's going to be out for the rest of the season. Which if you're talking fantasy quickly, kind of just on the Dolphins side in the rushing game, adds a little bit more value. Probably puts, if Devon Achane was in your top 5, maybe he gets a little bit more of a boost, considering that now he doesn't have a clear-cut, reliable backup to snag any more extra carries away from him. Because looking at the rest of that rush that the Miami Dolphins has, Ollie Gordon II, coming off his, he'll be in his sophomore year, not really all too much there. Jalen Wright, and again, exactly right. So that's basically it. So after Devon Achane, Alexander Mattison was the clear-cut number 2. I don't really see anyone snagging anything from Devon Achane after that.
Definitely.
So that was the big thing from the Dolphins.
Yeah, this Dolphins team is poised to be a little bit better this year as well. Hopefully, Tua Tagovailoa can stay healthy. Of course, you mentioned Tyreek Hill, and I think you mentioned Tyreek Hill, but Devon Achane for sure. And they're building there. I don't know if the building blocks are there. I don't know if the building is.
On paper, this is the fastest offense with Tyreek Hill. Devon Achane at any point in time is the fastest human on that field any given Sunday. So it is really tough. So if that offense is clicking at any point in time, obviously two seasons ago now, we saw them put up 70. So it's clear, they have the foundation, as you said. They have the blueprints. Can they put it together? Can all the the shenanigans be sent to the side with the Tyreek Hill stuff, and can they be healthy between Tua and Jalen Waddle also kind of being a little bit of a walking Band-Aid? So only time will tell. We'll see on that side, but obviously go Bears. We want that to focus on that a little bit more too, for sure.
We got Grant Leader jumping in saying Ali is a rookie. He also said he didn't know we were doing a show with John Cena. Yeah, John Cena. You could see him right here.
Cena.
Yeah, that's not my backpack or anything. That's John Cena. He's got the camo cargo shorts on and all. We also got a good morning from Joe Bonadonna. Good morning, Joe. Good to hear from you. We're talking Bears here on the Rise. And, of course, you can listen to the Chicago Bears right here on AM 1410 WRMN. We will be covering every regular season Bears game and hopefully playoffs. Hopefully,
so.
Knock on wood that this Bears team can get to the promised land at least for one game, right? I would hope they just build those the stepping stones for the first steps to a consistent playoff team here in Chicago. I think they finally have the pieces to do it. We'll have to see how they adjust to the new offense. You definitely saw a little bit of that new offense with Ben Johnson. I think Ben Johnson really has there were a couple plays in this Dolphins-Bears game that you saw, and they were like, I don't think this Bears team would have pulled that off last year or even attempted it.
Yeah, that's fair. You feel like there's a little bit more looseness. Exactly right. Already the influence of Ben Johnson is kind of being seen a little bit for sure.
Yeah. So after we return, we'll be talking more Bears leading up into this Bills game. But you're listening to AM 1410 WRMN, the talk of the town. Myself, Mike Napolitano, and Nick Johnston right here on the Rise.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
It's what we were taught, trained, and told to do.
It could be for anything. Helping a friend move.
Listening to a fellow veteran for hours. At any hour of the day.
Or just simply making time for people. A neighbor, a loved one, or even a stranger.
We're often the first to help others. There's no question about it.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
Perhaps it's time to do for yourself what you would do for others.
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
At Britain's Touchless Car Wash, they know life gets busy. That's why they're here 24/7 to keep your car looking spotless, fast, and easy. Their advanced brush-free wash technology delivers a sparkling clean without a single scratch, because they treat your car like it's their own. Here's the best part. Right now, you can get a free car wash just for joining their text club. It's simple. Just text BRITT to 30400, and your first wash is on them. Britain's touchless car wash has 2 convenient locations, 1923 Larkin Avenue in Elgin and 555 Willow in West Dundee. They're proud to keep your car clean while giving back to our community. Text BRITT to 30400. That's BRITT to 30400. Now for your free car wash, and see why Britain's touchless car wash is the fast, gentle, and reliable choice.
Businesses come in all shapes and sizes. Integrity doesn't. For more than a century, the Better Business Bureau has set the standards for how businesses should operate honestly and ethically. So when you're looking for a business you can trust, check to see who's BBB accredited and who isn't. Always choose the better business. Look for the BBB seal because it's looking out for you. That's why it's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you dreaming of a getaway? Want to leave the stress of daily life behind? Whether it's a relaxing cruise or an adventurous land escape, planning the perfect vacation doesn't have to be a hassle. At Cruises International, they specialize in vacation destinations, land and sea, making your dreams come true. Located at 1721 Moon Lake Boulevard in Hoffman Estates, Cruises International isn't just about booking travel. They're your personal concierge, trusted travel advisor, and advocate. Your preferences are unique, and they'll take the time to understand exactly what you're looking for. From personalized service to their global network of specialists, they ensure that your vacation is tailor-made just for you. It's time to plan the vacation of a lifetime. Call 800-255-7447. That's 800-255-7447 today and speak to a cruise and vacation expert. Cruises International. It's time to set sail to your dream destination.
Welcome back to AM 1410 WRMN. You're listening to On the Rise here with myself, Mike Napolitano, and Nick Johnston as we continue our talk about the Chicago Bears. And once again, the reminder that you can listen to all of the Chicago Bears games right here on AM 1410 WRMN. This is a partnered station with the Chicago Bears and ESPN 1000, so you can get all of your Bears coverage during the season here. Make sure to tune into WRMN because you don't just want the pregame and the postgame show on ESPN and the actual game. You want the pre and the post-game show, as WRMN's sports department will be going into a deeper dive with this Bears team before and after every single broadcast this season, which will include the regular season games and playoff games. However, not preseason games. So tomorrow night, there won't be anything too crazy, too special coming out of WRMN. But make sure you still tune in to Bears football in some fashion as they are set to play the Bills in Buffalo at 7 p.m. Central Time. It'll be the 0-1 Bills as they fell in their first preseason game to the New York Giants. I think that right there tells you that it was preseason because I don't think that happens during the regular season.
Very much so, yes.
34-25 in favor of the Giants. But this Bills team is probably going to have a few more starters in. Now it'll be a home game rather than on the... Well, actually, hold on. They are at Soldier Field, aren't they?
Seems as though, yeah.
Yeah, I had that backwards because I'm looking at the Bills' schedule. That's why.
So don't worry, we're going to get some starters in home then.
Yeah, the Bills were they on the road for this first game?
It'll be a Sunday night game too, 7 p.m. kick. All right.
No, they were at Highmark Stadium. So, yeah, now they'll be at Soldier Field, 7 p.m. kickoff. So you're destined to see a few more Bears starters, as we were talking about.
Yeah.
Do you think we see a few more Bills starters in week 2 here? Definitely not Josh Allen on the road in Chicago, I don't think. Maybe a little bit of time. Maybe like 5-10 minutes of him?
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I mean, if anything, last night, let me see. Did Patrick Mahomes play last night? Same deal? I mean,
I have to double check that.
I'm gonna double check as well. Okay, he did not play last night, so it could be the case where Josh Allen probably gets at least a drive in. If Tua played in this week 1, I could see Josh Allen getting in there. Also, just got the extension. I don't think we'll see him, but James Cook, congratulations to him getting doing that. You know, not the traditional, but now the common game of the hold in, going to being there physically at training camp, but not participating in anything practice-wise. So he got it done for what it's worth. I think they kind of met in the middle. He had a number, they had a number, and sure enough, as the season was kind of getting closer and closer, they kind of met in the middle. So good for them. I don't see anything other than that. You know, maybe you'll see Keon Coleman, a sophomore in his sophomore year, probably going to get some starts there. Maybe Shakir gets in there, but that's probably going to be it from the offensive side. You'll see maybe a drive from the number ones.
Yeah, no doubt. So we'll see. It'll be a great game, though, nonetheless. That's on Fox, once again, at 7 p.m., and you can check that out. The final Bears preseason game of the preseason is against the Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. So that one we most likely will be seeing a lot more Patrick Mahomes, maybe a little bit of Caleb Williams, of course, going into the regular season, but it will be on the road, so you don't want to necessarily use too much. I don't think it all depends. Ben Johnson is going to change some things here, so we'll see what his game plan is going into the final week of the preseason. But the Bears in this matchup, it's preseason, so it's not imperative that they get the win, but it's a home game. You would like to see this Bears team start to dominate at home before the regular season even starts. But how many times have we said the Bears go undefeated in the regular season and then the season kind of flops out? So this really isn't a marker for how anything is going to go this year, but it would be nice to see the Bears compete with a top offense and defense like the Bills.
Yeah.
So we shall see the Bears start their regular season on Monday Night Football against the Minnesota Vikings. That will be on September 8th at 7:15 p.m. on ABC and ESPN. We should have some news coming from WRMN here shortly, but of course you will be able to hear that game on AM 1410 WRMN as the regular season kicks off on a Monday Night Football special prime time, 7:15 p.m. between the Bears and the Vikings. J.J. McCarthy versus Caleb Williams. So it's hard for a lot of Chicagoans to root in that one. Of course, Bears all the way, but J.J. McCarthy, hometown kid, right? And after the injuries last year, originally went to Nazareth and then it transferred to IMG. But, you want to see him do well. And
do you?
Just not against the Bears. Just not against. After the injury last year, this is technically his rookie season now. So, I wish the best for the kid, but not against the Bears. Not against the Bears. That's for sure. Talking about other teams that are. Oh yeah, we don't have a break here, do we? Okay, we're gonna come right back after these messages. You're listening to AM 1410 WRMN.
Hi there, Tammy Scully here from Talk Time with Tammy and Friends. Join me and my sidekicks, Nancy and Becky, for valuable lifestyle tips and unique views and insights on interesting topics and everyday situations, providing nonstop fun and chuckles for all. Get the scoop on consumer news, deep dive on current events, and learn about the newest economic trends, from exercise and gardening to music, travel, recipes, sports, pets, real estate, media, and everything in between. And it's all sprinkled with a healthy helping of bad dad jokes and interesting fun facts to boot. Tune in Mondays through Thursdays from 2 to 4 p.m. for a little fun, frolic, and infotainment. Join us, won't you?
On WRMN. Talk time.
For nearly 50 years, the DuPage Senior Citizens Council and Kane Senior Council have been dedicated to serving seniors in DuPage and Kane counties. Established in 1975, the DuPage Senior Citizens Council is a volunteer-driven 501c3 non-for-profit organization committed to helping older adults live with dignity. From providing nutritious meals to offering support services, the Kane Senior Council is there every step of the way. With programs designed to enhance independence and quality of life, they're proud to make a difference in the lives of their senior neighbors. To learn more or to volunteer, visit them at 418B Airport Road in Elgin or head to their website at caneseniorcouncil.org. Give them a call at 630-338-0999. That's 630-338-0999. That's the Kane Senior Council, caring for seniors because they deserve to live with dignity and respect. Visit caneseniorcouncil.org or call 630-338-0999 today.
Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
They were best friends, inseparable, in fact, until the day Miguel died. Every day his friend visited Miguel's grave. Rain, wind, weekends, holidays, every day. Miguel's closest friend, Capitan, his German Shepherd, is a symbol of loyalty to which we can all aspire. Loyalty. Pass it on from passiton.com.
This is Larry Jones, and I'd like to talk to you about my bank, American Eagle Bank in South Elgin. Has your bank changed names in the last 10 years? Is your bank another faceless branch with headquarters in another city? Are you tired of earning next to nothing on your savings account or certificates of deposit, or does your personal banker treat you like a stranger? If you answered yes to any of those questions, then you're ready for a new banking experience, and American Eagle is the place for you. American Eagle is a locally owned independent bank that's rooted in the community, and American Eagle customers are greeted by name and treated with the respect that they deserve. American Eagle has an innovative program, Eagle Savings, that teaches your children to save while earning prizes and rewards. American Eagle offers great rates on certificates of deposit. My bank is located in South Elgin on Randall Road between the Target and Caputo's and is open Monday through Saturday. Give them a call at 847-742-7400 and a real person will answer the phone. American Eagle Bank, a place where you matter.
Welcome back to AM 1410 WRMN. You are listening to On the Rise. Myself, Mike Napolitano, here with Nick Johnston on the board. And boy, oh boy, has it been chaos here in Chicago, as we were talking about in that first break. It's not just...
It's been bananas.
It's been bananas, that's for sure. The Savannah Bananas are in town for the first time ever. If you're not familiar, a lot of people call them the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball. I'd wager to say that it's more so than that.
It's in a league of its own.
It is, exactly. It's a good movie reference, too. It is absolutely, positively chaos, but in the best ways possible. Myself and Dalton Cooper were there representing WRMN yesterday, and it was just, from top to bottom, one of the best run events I think I have ever been to. It just shout out to Sam Bauman, who got us all credentialed and got us in the door, and Jesse Cole, who runs...
I mean, yeah, that was a hot ticket, so
yeah. I mean, this we're talking, this is sold out, and of course they're cracking the jokes.
It's been sold out for months. It's been reselling like crazy. The reselling market like doubled, tripled from what the original price was. So I mean, yeah, to even get in the door, that was a pretty big feat right there.
Of course, folks are cracking the jokes that this is the first time in forever that Rate Field has been sold out because the White Sox play there.
They're not wrong.
Listen, 2021. Game 3 and Game 4 of the ALDS against the Astros. Blacked out crowd, because it was, that's what the black rally towels, black.
I was there for that game 3. That was crazy. That was a crazy environment. So
we had been given tickets to game 4, but I looked at the calendar and I was like, should I go to game 3? And game 4, of course, was when they got eliminated. So not the best of time. It was still a great experience, but that game 3 had to have been electric. And I will say the Savannah Bananas didn't sell tickets to the Stadium Club. And I know that the Stadium Club is open for every single White Sox game. So technically, I believe there were more people in the house for those White Sox playoff games than there were for this Savannah Bananas game. However, this was still an absolutely packed stadium. We got down there around noon, 12:30-ish, and the festivities were already on. There's so Lot B, where White Sox fans mostly tailgate, there was a whole fan area with a stage, food trucks, merchandise tents, you name it. It was out there. The bananas.
So you got dove right into that merch stand, my man.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You got anything and everything. They saw you. They went cha-ching.
Guilty as charged. Well, no, press was given a handsome discount, so that was very cool as well. So that was phenomenal. And one thing I do like.
You bought the ball, the shirt, the toilet paper.
I didn't buy the ball.
Oh, caught it.
Sure, yeah, we'll go with that. There was one that ripped right off of Dalton's ankle when we were standing in the first base camera well, and I did give it to a little kid, though.
There you go.
You got to pass that along. And nobody made the catch, so nobody was out. We're going to get into who was in and out of this game in just a second, but before we even get to the game, we were there for rehearsal. We were getting to interview some players, namely Jackson Olsen and Coach Rack, Robert Anthony Cruz. Absolute class acts, studs. We did get to interview Marshall Schill as well from the Firefighters. He's a former Frontier League player.
Thank you for your service, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly.
He played for the Quebec Capitales, and they were the one team to beat the Boomers. I read him this stat. I was like, oh, so you're part of that? I believe it was the 2022 team. He goes, yes. I go, you were the first team to beat the Schaumburg Boomers in a playoff series. Every other time before that the Boomers had made the playoffs, they went all the way. They went the entire length of the dance. But he was actually not a part of the championship team. He was injured and traded somewhere in there, but he's like, yeah, I helped get them there. So congratulations to him. He was an absolute pleasure to talk to, originally from Arizona. So he's used to the dry heat. He says Savannah's hot and humid. Chicago is a nice, healthy mix, although it was hot yesterday, I will say.
Yeah.
And that did not deter any of the fans from coming out. You have the players that after they're done with rehearsal, they go out onto the party concourse area in Lot B and sign autographs for the fans. Pretty much every kid gets an autograph. Jesse Cole, the owner.
That's funny. You say not practice, but rehearsal for the players.
Exactly, yeah. So they're rehearsing all of their dance numbers that they're going to do mid-game and stuff like that. And then I can disclose this information now.
Choice, yeah.
You're right. I can disclose this information now. Chance the Rapper was there, and he made an appearance. Chicagoans know he is the local phenom rapper that he just had another album released. We did get a chance to shake hands with him, but he wasn't up for interviews. But he did perform during the 5th inning later on during that game. But the acts that stole the show, I believe, were when the Savannah Bananas brought out former White Sox All-Stars and World Series champions A.J. Pierzynski and Mark Burley.
I got it right here if you want me to play
it. Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Go for it.
Now coming to pitch, a 5-time All-Star and World Series champion, and his number 56 is retired here with the Chicago White Sox. Please welcome
The clip might be a standing ovation, but yeah, he's looking good. What a pop for old Burley right there. That was obviously from the Savannah Bananas right there from their stream. So
I was surprised. I was like, oh, you have the clip, because what you don't have, I haven't sent out yet, is I got to interview Mark Burley and A.J. Pierzynski.
There we go.
So
Congrats.
those clips will be going out later today. You get a chance to see them in banana ball form and get to talk to them a little bit about their White Sox tenures and whatnot as well. Kid in a candy store right here is a man who's been to Mark Burley's perfect game. This was a very much so a full circle moment. Didn't get a chance to really talk to those two during 05 weekend, just in passing with Mark Burley. And then I almost actually ran into AJ Brzezinski turning a corner. So it was more so just, sorry, Mr. Brzezinski, and then keep going. But yeah, what an incredible show from start to finish, and we will be back tonight. And by we, I'm actually not sure if Dalton will be joining me again tonight. I know I will be there representing WRMN, so I hope to get some more info and some more coverage there. I will say Jesse Cole, the man in yellow, if you've seen him walking around in that suit, he almost looks like he's straight out of Curious George.
Yeah.
He is the owner of Banana Ball, owner and creator of Banana Ball, and he is one of the most transparent businessmen I have ever seen. When he says a t-shirt is $30, it's $30. There's no tax on top of it. There's no shipping if you were to order it online. And everything that you see in the clips that is fan service is fan service. They get the fans interacting with the game as much as possible. They get, I mean, it's like one of the minor league games that we have here in the Chicagoland area where you'll get a lot of different things in between innings to keep the fans engaged. They had a baby race. So many of the babies did not actually even race. They just sat there on the infield grass, and so many of them there was one that looked like he was about to take his first steps. Yeah, exactly. There was one baby that looked like he was about to take his first steps. He was to win the race. It looked like he was trying to get to his feet, and he just couldn't do it.
Well, it's obviously a DQ. I mean,
right? Yeah.
I don't want to call balls and strikes, but
the umpire wasn't even called. Well,
how as a parent do you feel like your child's about to? I don't think there's a prize, obviously, but your child's about to take their first steps. You're like, no, crawl. You've been doing this for months now.
I guess if you're a diehard White Sox fan or even just a Bananas fan, like you're like, all right, this is the best moment for my kid to take his first steps. But
it did actually happen I forget. I don't think it was a Bananas game. I think it was a college basketball game not too long ago.
Oh, no way.
Funny enough, yeah, sure enough, same deal, exactly. A baby race, and the baby takes their first steps, but of course, disqualified. It's a crawling race.
Right, yeah, exactly. So.
Know the rules. I get it. You're 3 months old, but come on. We got to establish it early.
Speaking of knowing the rules, the Savannah Bananas have some interesting rules that if there is a drop third strike, every player on the field has to touch the ball.
That's what it is.
And they have to get it back to the pitcher. In the meantime, the runner can get to as many bases as possible. Of course, he could still be tagged out after first, I believe. But if he doesn't even get to first,
isn't that the same thing with a walk too in there, or is it just a drop? Okay,
I think walks. Yeah, like you could run to first, and then every player has to touch the ball.
Okay.
But Mark Burley and AJ came in, and it wasn't exactly a perfect game. Of course, AJ didn't catch his perfect game, but they had that chemistry going, and it looked so funny to see AJ back out there. He even admitted, he's like, yeah, I'm a little too old for this. Even the catcher gear, I don't know what they provided him, but it wasn't quite fitting. I was like,
it looked a little awkward.
What is going
from that
on
clip
here?
Really quick. It didn't seem like he had his own stuff on him.
Luckily, he only had one in the dirt, and he backstopped it pretty well. He had one at bat. I thought for sure he was going to steal first. So you hit a foul ball. That's another rule in Banana Ball, where you hit a foul ball. If a fan catches it cleanly, not off any of the stadium partitions and not bobbled by other fans, if you catch it cleanly, it's an actual out.
Yep.
So AJ Brzezinski had a scare there with a foul ball where everybody thought that they were going to catch that foul ball. The Chicagoans can catch, though, because they tied the record for most fan-caught foul balls for outs in Banana Ball history. So let's hope we break that record in Chicago tonight, as there's game 2 between the Firefighters and the Bananas. It sounds like, and I'll get more information from Jesse Cole today, it sounds as though we are going to be getting 2 new teams added to the Banana Ball League next year. Of course, you have the Savannah Bananas that kicked things off. You have the Firefighters, the Texas Tailgaters, and of course the team that the Bananas were playing originally, which is the Party Animals, who I believe are about to become Vegas's residency team. So you'll have Savannah Bananas, Vegas Party Animals, Texas Tailgaters. I'm actually not sure where the Firefighters are going, to be honest with you.
I'll look it up.
I don't know where they're originally from or where they're going, but then 2 more teams are going to be added. I'll get that information from Jesse Cole today. But Banana Ball in full swing here in Chicago. I'm surprised it has taken this long. Do they go to Wrigley next is the big question, and how are they going to do that show, because I'll tell you, so many people come in from out of town to see this show that even the remote shuttle parking lots were chaos last night. And getting in and out of the stadium was not easy unless you got there early. Myself, it was a breeze. We were down there at noon. I'm sure at 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock it was okay. You get later on in the day, it's going to be an issue. But if you go to Wrigley, there's not as much parking. You might have the locals that are Cub fans, but what happens when all the out-of-towners are coming in? Those remote shuttle lots with the buses are going to be swallowed up immediately.
Yeah. I'm looking around. It just says the firefighter, so I don't think they have like a.
They might not have disclosed it yet. I might be giving some behind-the-scenes.
It's kind of the same thing where, like, when you look up the teams, it just says like the Savannah Bananas, the Texas Tailgaters, and it just says the Party Animals and the firefighters. So yeah, I think just the Vegas.
Maybe I'm spilling secrets here.
That's okay.
That's okay. It's what we do here at AM 1410 WRMN. We get you the best scoop possible.
Yeah, I mean, pun intended, they have fire jerseys, the firefighters.
Oh, yeah. I thought they were going to be all in red. They were actually in the all in black with the neon green striping that you see like an actual firefighter wear.
Yeah.
Those are sick, though.
Those are pretty cool.
Those are so cool. But we will be back tonight, WRMN, in attendance. It will be a different show, which is why I was able to disclose that Chance the Rapper and AJ Przinsky and Mark Burley were there. Not sure if they're going to
who
make
even won
appearance.
last night?
It was the Savannah Bananas.
Okay.
Sorry, buried the lead. Honestly, though, once you go to one of these games, you realize that the score is kind of the last thing.
Yeah, everything becomes secondary. It's all about the glitz, the glamour, showing it off right there. I think you had mentioned it all the way at the beginning when we were first talking about this. Yes, the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball. And some might see that as a negative connotation. At the end of the day, it is just entertainment, folks. It's just a simple, easy way to get involved and watch a form of baseball. Is it insulting to the regular form of baseball? It shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. Again, it's just an alternate. Do all these, do the player on stilts, does the dancing?
That was impressive.
Are you going to say
on stilts?
Yeah. Are you going to see that in regular baseball? Absolutely not. Do you want to flip over and again just turn your brain off and have some fun, get the kids involved? And it's just I keep seeing this as another way to get the younger generation even involved, semi-interested in the regular game of baseball. Get them in with all the gimmick stuff, and then as soon as they kind of like, okay, I'm a little bit older now let me start getting introduced to actual good players and. Let me not be insulting. Let me get involved with the professionals, the other side of things like that, and it's like I said, it's like a gateway into the actual professional baseball. So for all those that are naysayers, the yelling at clouds, back in my day, this is my baseball. I'm not changing it, no matter no how. Relax. It is again. It's not going to overtake baseball in any sort of way. Baseball's been around for 100 years. It's probably going to be around for another 100 years. So we're good to go there. So relax, enjoy it, take a breath. I know it's a little extra chaos downtown, but just enjoy, one of those things. Let the kids play type deal.
Exactly. Yeah, and I shouldn't say the score is the last thing, but there's just so much going on in general with Banana Ball that, I mean, you're glancing up at the scoreboard, but the game does not stop. It is nonstop action, which I think is many people's criticism of regular baseball if they don't have the appreciation for baseball. So, I mean, you're looking at a phenomenal production.
Was there anything from the game, from the experience, from just being there in general, that you feel baseball that the MLB can kind of integrate into their game, whether it's an in-game experience, the way that they promote, the way that they, just any in-house kind of and stuff like that? Was there any kind of takeaways from like a regular game to this banana game that you feel, again, not everything, like you just said, all the gimmick stuff, the guy on stilts, that's not going to transition over, but was there maybe just some sort of small detail that MLB is missing that the Savannah Bananas has? Is there anything that you saw that may have been able to kind of draw kind of a similarity? That's
a good question. I'd say no taxes on all the merchandise.
That'd be nice. That'd be really nice.
It's never going to happen.
Of course.
But, wow, that's a good question because I'm trying to think here if there really is anything that could be integrated. I mean, maybe so. The Savannah Bananas have like this not like a cheerleading crew, but like a pump up crew.
Oh yeah, like a prep squad almost. Yeah,
so they go around, and I think maybe the MLB could use some. In fact, a lot of them are like those pro amateur wrestlers and stuff like that in their off season. So like they have the showmanship already, and so they take that to the tops of the dugouts or on the field and stuff like that. So I feel like during lulls in games, maybe the MLB could have something else going on. But I will say one thing with Banana Ball that is completely different in a good way from MLB. Not that the MLB is bad, but you've got your head on a swivel at all times. I mean, there's always something going on. You feel like a dog that's seen a squirrel because you're just something is happening every single second. So that would be something if the MLB was to incorporate this like prep squad type of thing. That maybe your focus is taken away from the game and you're on these, this prep squad or whatever. But I don't know how they'd really integrate that. None of the actual rules, I'd say. I'd want to keep baseball the way it is, especially because they've flirted with the MLB going to that golden bat rule, and the Bananas do actually do it. I don't like that. I think it should stay. If your lineup is your lineup, then that's what you bat with, right? But I don't know. I would like to see Luis Robert do a 360 backflip catch. I mean, that'd be incredible. But knowing the White Sox track record with injuries, let's hope that doesn't happen.
Land on his ankle the wrong way, and he was on a quick 10-day IL there for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of those White Sox, we'll go right into them real quick. There's not a whole lot to report this week from the White Sox. It was kind of back and forth week for this Sox team. They get one win against the Tigers, but lose 2 at home, a 1-0 loss and a 2-1 loss in the bookends of that series. They also lose 2 of 3 to the Guardians over the weekend. Their only win coming on Sunday against the Guardians, a 6-4 victory. It's been rough for this White Sox team who are playing a lot of. They got out of that Angels series, losing all 3. They get swept. Not the Angels. I was looking at the Angels, but it was the Seattle Mariners. Swept by the Mariners just to come back home, lose 2 out of 3 to the Guardians, lose 2 out of 3 to the Tigers, and now back on the road against the Royals, who always seem to have the White Sox number. They get the better of the game last night, 3-1. But the young guns are still hitting in this White Sox core. What have you seen from this Sox team in this past week that I guess at this point hasn't really shocked you because you're expecting it from the Colson Montgomerys and the Edgar Caros and whatnot, but what else have you seen that you've liked going forward?
Lenyn Sosa just continues to have a hot bat. I think it's been really important to see that. A couple solo shots here and there, nothing too crazy, but he continues to be the consistent bat that while, again, Colson Montgomery gets the call up, you still see, Cam Mydroff is still hasn't played just yet since being returning, but that's kind of who we thought may have been the odd man out in that infield who might be getting the axe come next year. But again, as of right now, you still need his bat in some sort of capacity. It was good to see Miguel Vargas back off the IL as well. That was nice to see. And then actually, like I said, actually, making the move, getting called up and then playing someone. Curtis Mead has been pretty decent so far from actually acquire him in that trade. So that's been nice to see. Again, it's tough. It's been a tough stretch for the White Sox as of late. We knew going into the second half, while they were doing pretty decent to start off at the right coming off the All-Star break, you see now that their strength of schedule is kind of catching up to them right now. They had they had like the third toughest, I believe, at least a top 5 strength of schedule going in on the way out. So now it's kind of catching up to them where you're seeing. Of course, the Mariners are in a playoff race. They want to win. They just went ahead and swept. Tigers kind of falling off a little bit. So this was very important for them to kind of get right and get back into that series. So they take 2 out of 3 against us, like you mentioned. And then of course, same deal with the Guardians, right on the Yankees' heels in that wild card race. I don't even did they swap places last night? I have to double check, but like I said, running into 2 teams right now or 3 teams right now that are just in a full-on playoff race, so they were gun-ho, so it's kind of tough, like I said. Where the White Sox need moral victories, those squads needed real victories, and they went ahead and got them. So,
no doubt. When we take a look at those standings, as you were saying, in the AL Central, The Tigers holding down the fort, 72-52, playing 581 baseball.
Yeah,
Cleveland.
That lead was what? Once 12 games. Now it's down to 7. It was 6.5.
7.5.
But now the Tigers must have won. Guardians must have lost last night. Okay.
Yeah, so 63-58 are the Guardians. 521 baseball. Kansas City, after their win against the White Sox last night, exactly 61-61, 500 with that is 40 more games to go.
Yep.
And 10 games back. The Twins and the White Sox bringing up the rear. White Sox are, of course, 27 games back, 361 baseball, 44-78. They surpassed the mark that they got to last year, which I don't even want to talk about them setting poor records like that. In fact, who is maybe destined to break that record is the Colorado Rockies, who are 33-89, playing 270 baseball. Could we possibly see that White Sox record dethroned in just a year? That would be insane. But when we look at standings, it's really not the talk for the White Sox. We knew they would be where they're at in the cellar over here. It's really more so about the young guns that are going to be moving up and becoming the future of this White Sox team. And that's what you want to see. As far as the future goes for this White Sox team, they'll continue their series in Kansas City tonight and tomorrow before they have a weekday series. It's evening games, Monday through Wednesday in Atlanta to face the Braves, who have struggled this year compared to where everybody thought they were going to be. Still, of course, a better team than the White Sox. 6:15 p.m. starts in all three of those Atlanta games. Tonight, though, against Kansas City, 6:10. Tomorrow, a 1:10 game. It'll be Sean Burke on the mound tonight, Davis Martin tomorrow, and then the rotation will switch up for the week. Off day Thursday, and then next weekend back home to face the Minnesota Twins in a 3-game homestand. So that'll complete the AL Central run after taking a little jaunt over to Atlanta just for the little bit there. It'll be 6:40 on Friday, 6:10 on Saturday, and a 1:10 game on Sunday for this White Sox team.
A quick message to the White Sox pitching staff. Salvador Perez is close to being 300 career home runs. Walk him.
Yeah.
Walk him.
Don't
keep
let
walking him. I think he hit one last night, so he might be like 298. Walk him.
Don't let another record happen. I know you really can't control it when it's Clayton Kershaw on the mound getting strikeouts.
Don't be another notch in another team's bedpost.
Yeah,
let's not do that.
No kidding.
Be smart. Walk him.
Notches in teams' bedposts, that would be the Brewers that you're talking about, who just continue to put up notches. And a former White Sox that is doing well in Andrew Vaughn. I know. Even White Sox fans are upset about that one, but Cub fans are more so. We've got the NL Central and how things are shaking out between the Red Hot Brewers and the Cubs right here on AM 1410 WRMN. You're listening to On the Rise. Myself, Mike Napolitano, and Nick Johnson on the board.
When disaster strikes, flood or fire, every second counts. At Emergency Construction Group, they specialize in immediate response and same-day service for any residential, commercial, or industrial emergency across the Chicagoland area. With over 30 years of experience, they've got the expertise, manpower, and equipment to handle any size loss fast. They follow strict IICRC guidelines to restore your property the right way, the first time. Their team values transparency, constant communication, and strong ethical standards because your peace of mind matters. Licensed, bonded, and insured, they're here for you 24/7, 365 days a year. Call 855-4ECG now. That's 855-432-4669. Or visit their website at emergencyconstructiongroup.com and let Emergency Construction Group put your life back together one step at a time. That's Emergency Construction Group. Your satisfaction is their passion.
Your hometown radio station since 1949. We are WRMN AM 1410, Elgin time, 9 o'clock.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Erin, now a Category 4 hurricane in the Caribbean. Tropical storm watches are in place for several islands. Experts predict Erin will turn northeast, possibly affecting Bermuda. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky set to pay a visit to Washington on Monday.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will fly to Washington, D.C. on Monday to meet President Donald Trump in the wake of the summit in Alaska. After the U.S. and Russian leaders left Alaska without an agreement on Ukraine, Zelensky said he held a long and substantive conversation with Trump early Saturday, thanking him for an invitation to meet in person next week. Trump also held calls with European leaders and said that if it all works out, he'll then schedule another meeting with President Putin. Zelensky said he spoke to Trump one-on-one and then in a call with NATO leaders, in conversations lasting over 90 minutes. The group, including the head of the European Union, France, Germany and the UK, then released a joint statement saying they're ready to work towards a trilateral summit with European support. Zelensky last met Trump in the Oval Office in February. I'm Nayan Kim.
Ned Ryan with the conservative political training organization American Majority says Republicans should have no qualms about creating those new congressional seats in Texas and elsewhere.
I think Republicans have a moral obligation to use their political power to send the Marxists back into the political wilderness, and to not do so in many ways is immoral.
In fact, he says that it's a fundamental part of their belief that Republicans need to fight harder to win those political battles.
I don't think there should be any questions about us going and looking at Texas and Ohio and Florida, and I think Indiana and Missouri as well. And if we can get 13 to 15 new Republican seats before the 26 elections, that would be spectacular.
Ned Ryan with the conservative political training group American Majority spoke this week with the Salem Radio Network. More from townhall.com.
What is your next success story? At University of Maryland Global Campus, you can succeed again with more than 135 affordable online degrees and certificates to help you move your career forward. From cybersecurity and AI to healthcare and MBA, our programs help you build critical thinking, leadership, and communication skills that set you apart in today's job market. Apply now and save with no application fee through September 3rd. Visit umgc.edu to get started. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Everybody is keeping an eye on the Fed and how an interest rate cut might affect gold prices. Gold has been hovering at around $3,400 an ounce for the last 2 months and is poised for dramatic growth with the next interest rate cut. If you have a qualified IRA or 401k, you could receive up to $10,000 in free gold and silver when you open your retirement account with Advantage Gold. Call 800-900-8000 now or visit AdvantageGold.com and get your free gold IRA guide. Consult with your financial and tax professionals before making investment decisions. Call 800-900-8000.
Media watchdog Adam Gillette says universities are only pretending to adhere to Trump administration policies on DEI.
The very next day, after Columbia agreed to a deal with the federal government, which included a prohibition on masks on campus, their president was heard on a hot mic saying, yeah, we're not actually going to do that. Because think about it for a second. At these universities, it's not merely that they've got bad presidents, they've got a massive faculty that is far left.
And Gillette says American tax dollars simply should not be going to universities that essentially teach their students to hate the country.
These are incredibly wealthy universities that we are subsidizing. Harvard, for example, gets over $1 billion, $1 billion from the federal government annually. Why are we paying our tax dollars to subsidize radically violent anti-American institutions? It needs to stop.
Adam Gillette, president of Accuracy in Media, spoke this week with the Salem Radio Network. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. Target and a beauty shop mutually agree not to renew their partnership.
Target and Ulta Beauty are parting ways, ending a partnership launched in 2021 that created in-store shops filled with beauty products at hundreds of the discounters' stores. According to a joint release issued Thursday, the companies said they've mutually agreed not to renew their pact, which concludes in August 2026. Until then, the Ulta Beauty experience at Target will continue in Target stores and on Target.com, the release said. Ulta is currently in 600 of Target's roughly 1,980 stores, according to a Target spokesperson. Keith Peters, Washington.
Shoppers spent their money at a healthy pace in July, especially at the nation's auto dealerships. Retail sales rose a solid 0.5%. The Commerce Department also says June retail sales increased by a revised 0.9%. You'll find more on these stories at townhall.com.
Tune in to Big Top Sports
with Derek Geyer every weeknight from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
He'll have sports thoughts from the center ring of Chicagoland and to the outer rings from across the nation.
Weather from Chicago Cubs,
White Sox,
Bulls,
Bears,
Blackhawks,
Stars,
Fire,
Boomers,
whatever the national story is of the day.
Geyer and his sports czar takes will either have you nodding in agreement,
yelling at the radio,
or in all honesty,
a bit of both.
With the way the Chicagoland sports and sports are in general, there's bound to be
thrills,
chills, and
oh my God moments.
So get your snacks and libations ready,
because this is going to be a wild ride.
Big Top Sports with Derek Geyer's quirky and insightful Fanatics take
will make you feel a little
or a lot better about your Chicagoland sports viewing experiences.
Tune in to Big Top Sports with Derek Geyer every weeknight from 6 p.m.
to 8 p.m.
Welcome back to AM 1410 WRMN. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to On the Rise. Myself, Mike Napolitano, and Nick Johnston. We just went over a little Bears talk and some baseball talk, whether it is the Savannah Bananas or the Chicago White Sox. But there's another team here in Chicago, and it's the Chicago Cubs. And
Orange, you glad I didn't say banana ball?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. We had a whole commercial to sit on that one. That's what I had. I'm sorry.
Listen, the Cubs need to take a page out of someone else's book, literally anyone else's book right now. The Savannah Bananas, maybe even the Chicago White Sox, because to keep pace with a red-hot Brewers team in the NL Central, this just isn't going to cut it.
That's wishful thinking.
Yeah. The Cubs have struggled mightily in their last 10 games. Meanwhile, the Brewers are on a 13-game win streak. Oh, my goodness. I think they're like 20-4 since including Andrew Vaughn, calling up Andrew Vaughn. I mean, that's an insane stat.
Something like that.
But when you look at this Cubs team, they've struggled. They've had to play some tougher teams. They dropped 2 out of 3 to Cincinnati last week. They dropped 2 out of 3 to their rivals in St. Louis. They're still on the road when they drop 2 out of 3 to a tough Toronto team, and then they lose 3-2 to the Pittsburgh Pirates last night. Listen, I understand that Pittsburgh does have Paul Skeens, but if you're a Cubs team,
they're not even going to see him this weekend.
Yeah, you're not seeing him this weekend, and you need to take advantage of that, and you haven't in Game 1 with a 3-2 loss. A home run in the top of the 9th by Sawinski. Oh, yes, by the way, Cubs are in town as well. So if you're looking to get downtown traffic, Cubs, Aaron Waters show, Bears tomorrow, UFC.
You'll probably get down there faster to walk.
Yeah, honestly.
Just ignore public
Ride
transportation
share.
and driving. You could probably walk down there and get to the beach faster.
Get one of those motorized scooters going down there. But, yeah, this Cubs team, man, this is a struggle. 68-53 now. They're really starting to slip. Second in the NL Central, but by a landslide now to this Milwaukee team.
There are so many moving factors right now as to what might be the issue or just the multiple issues with the Cubs. And I don't think there are any quick solutions other than just the silly suggestion of like they need a break. Like they look so tense. Like they got to go to take them to a water park. Like go to Dave & Buster's. Go do something to relax. Because right now they are just trying a little too hard in every which way, and they're just not going their way. With yesterday's example of trying to tie it up or take the lead even, and Pete Crow Armstrong overshoots, stealing second. Easily steals it, but overshoots the bag and gets tagged out afterward. In that Toronto series, that right at the end, they're 2 on, nobody out. You have the hardier
single run,
hardier lineups coming up. Swing and misses. Seiya Suzuki couldn't make contact. Apparently he's making Javi Baez look really disciplined up there.
Yikes!
So from what everyone's kind of saying and put together from online, so it is just the clamoring for any sort of offense, the absolute just disappointment that is right now in Seiya Suzuki's performance. Everyone's kind of pointing a finger at Kyle Tucker too, and just in terms of either again lack of performance, production, or they just think he's hurt. In which point, isn't that Cubs malpractice right there to putting a player out there that's not 100%, that clearly needs to just take a day off or something. And everyone's playing doctor, but it's kind of there is some correlation where it was either his finger when he was sliding in and he jammed it, or it was, I think he fouled the ball off his knee. And ever since one of those two, you've seen all his production has gone down. Apparently, there's some big thing about like his bat speed has gone down, swing and everything. So everything has just gone down ever since getting slightly hurt or just injured injured at all. And the Cubs are just not doing anything about it. So again, there's just multiple layers of like, what are you doing? How is this thing falling apart? Again, on top of it, you didn't really help yourself out on the deadline at all, too. So you kind of, you made your bed, you kind of have to sleep in it type deal. And it's just a really, really, I get it. I hear all the complaints from all the top talking heads, and you have valid points. But again, just you saw the writing on the wall when no big name came in at the trade deadline. There's no big juice, no big boost from anybody right there. So you kind of see why they're struggling. Where again, we're like on the opposite end. The White Sox have a really tough schedule on the way out. Cubs had like the third easiest, and they are just kind of just letting the Brewers have it.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about third easiest, and you're just letting it slip. Are you getting complacent? What is going on? But I was talking about this with Dalton yesterday. We brought up to Brandon Combs. Dalton says that it was only him. As a White Sox fan, I ask Cub fans this question every year. Do you think they're peaking too early? Do you think that this Cubs team is too hot and they need to hit the brakes a little bit? Maybe, Brandon was chalking that up to, oh, yeah, they are kind of doing that around that All-Star game. But do you hit the brakes too much now coming out of the All-Star game and you can't get your foot back on the gas pedal? Because this Cubs team has not found it again. And Dalton, the one point that he did make in our group chat, and this is not my point, and I think I mentioned it on the show last week, Dalton said that trade deadline for the Chicago Cubs was a team that was looking at the start of their season and their early success as their average rather than their peak. That was their peak, and Jed Hoyer and the Chicago Cubs organization were going, no, that's how our average baseball team shakes out. Injuries and all. And trust me, the Cubs have had injuries this year. You mentioned Cubs, maybe some malpractice playing players that are injured, but that whole rotation got hurt basically at the start of the season, and the Cubs had to scramble, and you didn't pick anybody up at the trade deadline. That, to me, tells me that this Cubs team
picked up an injured Michael Soroka.
Yeah, and that speculation says that the Cubs may have known of the injury when they picked him up.
Yeah.
So you're getting broken or used goods at the trade deadline, and you're considering yourself a playoff team? Well, that's not a playoff push. That's not you trying to invest to get to the playoffs. That's you getting comfortable where you're at and going, nah, we're fine. We're bringing in the dollars. We're bringing in the fans in the seats because we're playing good baseball right now. But you're not playing great baseball. And when you're not playing great baseball, a team like the Brewers, who go on a 13-game win streak aside, are going to surpass you in the standings, are going to be in the playoffs. Even the Reds are on your tail. If you're the Cubs, I'd be less concerned with catching the Brewers at that point. You're 9 games back. You're playing .562 baseball, so whoopee, you're above 500. But the Cincinnati Reds are playing .520 baseball. They're 14 games back. They're 5 games behind you. If the Reds catch you and you miss the playoffs entirely, are you kidding me? Do you know how your fans are going to react by that?
I will laugh in all those fans' faces.
There will still be bums in seats because it is Wrigley Field. It's a national landmark. It's a historic site, and the tourists will flock to catch a game at Wrigley. But the diehard Cub fans that may throw some kind of, I'm not saying this is on the table yet, but may throw some kind of a boycott, like White Sox fans I've tried to do. I'll admit it, in the previous couple of years, the White Sox fall from grace. I said, this is not acceptable. We can't be going to games and funding. There's a difference of being a fair weather fan. I've said this before on air. There's a difference in being a fair weather fan and being a fan that just buys in like a sheep to an organization that constantly slaps you in the face. Look at what the Bulls are doing right now. I tried to compare the Cubs to the Bulls last week, and I wanted to get Brandon Combs' take, and I still will when we get him back. The Cubs are doing the exact same thing. You just can't see it as clean and as plain as day because there will always be a presence at Wrigley Field because of the fact that it is such a landmark, and people will go no matter what. People will go to enjoy a day at Wrigley. People, and you've said this. This was your point. There are just people who go to enjoy Wrigley Field. There are tourists that come to see and check some item off their bucket list. The diehard Cub fans have no voice here. Really, if they want to boycott, if they want to say Jed's not the guy and they shouldn't have signed him to an extension, and forget the Ricketts for doing this to us, and then coming out and having the audacity to say that we break even every single year. Cub fans have every right to be disappointed if this Cubs team continues on the trajectory that they're on and they miss the playoffs, or at best get a wild card spot and have to play, I don't know, the Phillies, the Dodgers, maybe the Brewers themselves. You are cooked at that point, to use common, lingo terminology of the kids these days. You're cooked. You're done. You went from a Cubs team that had, at the start of the season, we're beating the Dodgers. We have World Series aspirations. We have deep playoff runs aspirations.
We haven't been swept.
We haven't been swept yet this year, and we've been on the road. We've only played NL West teams. We've only played AL West teams. Those time zones are tough on our players. What do you have to say now that you have the third easiest schedule in the MLB and you can't solidify a win in a series? What's going on? Can we get a winning team here in Chicago?
It's been tough. It's been tough for sure. Like I said, to be a fly on the wall for that conversation with the Nationals, I was just wondering if they're like, hey, Washington, you got any surgeries you guys want us to pay for? Like, you just anything at all?
Well,
anything
Michael
at all?
Soroka's on the table.
Yeah, exactly. Again, in terms of team trips or things to get out there and go do. Maybe the Cubs head over to George Webb Restaurant, who they're giving away free burgers because the Brewers hit that 12. At that point, they had 12 straight wins. Now they're at 13, and then of course George Webb, the restaurant, is giving out free burgers to anyone, basically anyone with a pulse, I think. So good luck to them. Like I said, maybe like a nice little team retreat. Head on up there and get some burgers there, because right now, anything can help PCA, who's hitting what, 0.081, 0.091 right now. It just has been an awful month in general. That MVP, those chances have gone a little silent there. That's been a tough one. I don't know if the term overhyped or overvalued is there for sure, but man, that was a big one right there. Yeah. Overall, like I said, just a big downer for the Cubs. You see the next couple series and whatnot. It'd be a major, and I mean a major, just complete destruction of the season if they don't make the playoffs. I still think they make the wild card.
Yeah,
it's very much on the table that they kind of have a stranglehold on that. It would need to be a disastrous next couple of weeks. I mean, it would mean in terms of just constantly Cubs losing, constantly Reds and Cardinals winning. So those are the next two teams that are right on their heels in the Central. So it's a tough one. Like I said, hopefully get Brandon back on and get some more Cub perspective on this one. Because right now it's been, and in all honesty, you look around online, all the big talking heads on any other big major radio network or anything else, they're all just doom and gloom. It's all doom and gloom from the Cubs perspective. And I mean, kind of like I said, obviously rightfully so right now. It's just they are playing awful.
Yeah. I mean, this is just unbelievable that we're here in this situation once again. I think Cub fans are saying it's like a broken record. This is always happening towards the latter stages of the season. So I think you're right. I think this is still a wild card team, but it's not the situation you want to be in. It's not the pace that you want to take going into late stages of the regular season and into playoffs, especially if you have only that wild card spot rather than a division lead. So.
Yeah, and I think, again, like what really, again, for sure, all the different factors. Seiya can't hit right now. PCA is kind of all over the place. Kyle Tucker, not sure if he's hurt or not. But again, I really factor that the lack of movement or just the moves that were made at the deadline really did it in, where Dave Kaplan from ESPN was – he had brought up an interview that when he was talking to Anthony Rizzo, or it might have just been maybe a different Anthony Rizzo interview, but he had said that when Aroldis Chapman walked in 2016, it was just a breath of fresh air, because that was the players recognizing that, wow, all right, this front office is being serious. We're being serious. Like I said, when you're making all those moves and Andrew Kittredge walks in and Michael Soroka walks in, it's a tough sell. However, again, Willie Castro, for what it's worth, he's getting on base. He's doing pretty well on that end, but it's just not the juice, the fire, enough fuel to that fire to really push them over the edge and be like, okay, front office for serious, now we're for serious. Let's do this thing. I think there was a big lack there.
No doubt indeed. I said at the start of this segment that the Cubs need to take a page out of the book of quite literally any other team. Maybe they could take a page out of the Boomers' book. The Schaumburg Boomers are still holding on to first place in their division. That is the Midwest Conference of the West Division. 49-32. They're playing .605 baseball. They're a game ahead of the Gateway Grizzlies. However, the Grizzlies have won 2 in a row. The Boomers have lost 1. They did not play last night. It looks like that game got pushed to a doubleheader today. Not sure if there was some weather out in New Jersey as they are set to play the Jackals. The Boomers did just take 2 out of 3 from the Sussex County Miners, who are leading that same division out east with the New Jersey Jackals in there as well. So taking 2 out of 3 is huge. They do drop the finale 6-5, but last weekend they were at home and they did drop 2 of 3 to the New York Boulders. So it's been up and down for this Boomers team. Hopefully they can get things back on the right track and head out of the season as it wraps up in August with a win, or with some wins. They have 2 more home series. That would be this upcoming weekend, or this upcoming week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, against the Gateway Grizzlies after they get back from New Jersey over the weekend. So that is 6:30 start times all 3 nights, and then 6:30 start times Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday the following week, as their final homestand against the Windy City Thunderbolts will be that Tuesday through Thursday. They go on the road to play the Florence Yalls to end the season. A team that missed, this Boomers team is a team that missed the playoffs by a half a game last year. It looks like they are poised to take the division this year if they can hold on to that lead above the Gateway Grizzlies. It does look like the Boomers added a drone show to their fan appreciation night. So their fan appreciation night on August 28th at 6:30 p.m. will have fireworks and a drone show. That'll be great. The Boomers did bolster their roster a little bit for the playoff push. They're adding Caleb Rydell, Christian Lopez, and Buddy Pindell. All 3 of them pitchers. Rydell is a left-hander, the other 2 righties. And then Alex Calarco, he joined the Boomers. That's Anthony Calarco's brother. He drove in a couple runs in a big Boomers 6-2 win the other night. But it was his brother Anthony who had been with the team for the start of the season. We did get a chance to talk to him. Hopefully we get a chance to talk to him here soon. I may reach out to him. In the extra inning game against Sussex County, the 2-run homer from Anthony Calarco set a league record, and of course a Boomer record with that, driving home his 100th and 101st runs of the year. So 101 RBIs for Anthony Calarco. Congratulations. They did lose in 10 innings, though, to Sussex County 6-5, but 2 huge runs driven in from Calarco, and he sets a record. So we'll hopefully get a chance to talk to him about his phenomenal season and how that's been going. But only 6 home games remaining. So, guys, make sure you get to Wintrust Field to see the Boomers at least one more time. I know I'll be there during the Windy City Thunderbolts series to say hi to all of our Thunderbolts friends, but, of course, see the Boomers. And then, of course, playoffs should be right around the corner. As far as other minor league ball talk, we've got the Kane County Cougars, who are sitting somewhat comfortably in 3rd place. Cleburne is a half a game back from them, but it's the top 4 teams in each division in the American Association that make it to the playoffs. So you would have, quote-unquote, first round, I guess you could consider them like a wild card series, first round series between teams 1 through 4. The seeding will depend on who the first place team would like to play. They get the first choice in that league. So right now, that would be the Lake Country Dockhounds. They're 50 and 34 playing .595 baseball. The Chicago Dogs are 43 and 41, just above 500, 512, 7 games back. And the Kane County Cougars, 40 and 45, 10.5 games back.
Looks like Lake County and the Sioux City Explorers have already clinched playoff berths.
Yes, that is true.
Congrats there. Nothing too much on the Dogs side of things. They came home last night after a little getaway there. From what I understand, I think they kind of were splitting, but last night lost to the worst team in the American Association, the Gary South Shore Railcats, 5-4. Made a little bit of a run towards the end in the bottom of the ninth. Couple of runs scored, but couldn't get the job done. Had the had the go-ahead run at bat, but could not get it done there. Like I said, I think the Dogs might be kind of coasting in to at least get into a playoff berth at the very end. I don't think it'll be too much because, like I said, the East side's a little bit lax compared to the West, where kind of has been a little bit more top heavy there. But yeah, ultimately pretty fun. Dogs on a 9-game homestand, so if you're any which way, I think I missed the post. I forgot who put it up there, but it was just kind of scrolling wrong in my algorithm that someone was able to go to a Dogs game, a Windy City Thunderbolts, a Cougars game, what else? A Boomers game, and there was one more I'm gonna miss out. But they said they were just just so grateful that they live in an area where in any given direction they're only about a little less than an hour from being able to watch baseball. So that's kind of like I said. We say this every single week basically when we're going over these squads and going over these teams. Just there's some good independent ball. Good, whether you're going for the actual game itself or for the atmosphere, just enjoy the time. Enjoy some baseball. It's a fantastic outing. Yesterday was the backpack giveaway, and I think they're doing Star Wars night tonight at Impact Field. Next week is the stadium little replica giveaway, so that ought to be fun. So, like I said, get in there. Last 9 home games for the Dogs on right here, and then, like I said, hopefully getting a playoff game at home too. So that'd be the goal.
Sweet, yeah, we're spoiled here in the
100%. That's baseball. That's putting it lightly.
It's a miracle that it's amazing that it's taken so long for the Savannah Bananas to come here, because I think Chicagoland has one of the most passionate baseball fandoms of any area, just because of how many teams are here locally and how fans pour out to whatever ballpark it is and go and watch some baseball at any level. And the Cougars in that same league, they have a tie-dye night tonight. Last night was American Girl Night, presented by American Girl. Tomorrow will be Bluey Day.
Hey!
Bluey, like the TV show. Yeah. Wednesday, August 27th, will be Bark in the Park, presented by Veg ER for Pets. Thursday, August 28th will be North Central College Night. Friday, August 29th, will be Peanuts Night. Now, they had a peanut-free night. I think this is peanuts as in Snoopy.
That's kind of where I was getting at.
Maybe there are actual peanuts at this one, but so allergies beware.
Yeah, for sure.
Saturday, August 30th, will be their Star Wars night, and then wrapping up things on Sunday, August 31st, will be their Neon Night. So that'll be pretty cool.
This is the baseball you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. So the Cougars hopefully holding on to that playoff spot, as well as the defending champs look to get back into the dance. We'll have a lot more Cougars news for you here, as I know an organization that will be represented at the Cougars next week. So we'll be talking to them next Saturday, as well as talking to hopefully maybe some Boomers representatives as we go into playoff time here. We may not get playoffs for our Chicago baseball teams when it comes to MLB, but the minor leagues have always got us in one way or another.
Yeah,
so
it helps.
We'll see. We've got to switch gears from all this baseball talk, as there is still WNBA going on and some soccer here within the Chicagoland area. Plus, Nick and I will be giving our Mamma Mias, so stick around. And, of course, at the top of the hour at 10 o'clock, you will hear from Marcus Mack, Blake Cowell, and Sophia Blackburn, and the truth about Chicago sports right here on AM 1410 WRMN. But myself, Mike Napolitano, and Nick Johnston here for On the Rise. You're listening to AM 1410 WRMN.
am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer. And we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case. And they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-257-3148. 800-257-3148. 800-257-3148. That's 800-257-3148.
When disaster strikes, flood or fire, every second counts. At Emergency Construction Group, they specialize in immediate response and same-day service for any residential, commercial, or industrial emergency across the Chicagoland area. With over 30 years of experience, they've got the expertise, manpower, and equipment to handle any size loss fast. They follow strict IICRC guidelines to restore your property the right way, the first time. Their team values transparency, constant communication, and strong ethical standards because your peace of mind matters. Licensed, bonded, and insured, they're here for you 24/7, 365 days a year. Call 855-4ECG now. That's 855-432-4669. Or visit their website at emergencyconstructiongroup.com and let Emergency Construction Group put your life back together one step at a time. That's Emergency Construction Group. Your satisfaction is their passion.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone in your community, or just taking a deep, calming breath when you need it. Nice. For mental health resources, check out loveyourmindtoday.org. At loveyourmindtoday.org, you'll find information that may help you get through a tough time. Things like tips for dealing with stress, how to navigate difficulties like financial worries, anger, substance use, and more. You can also find real stories of how people navigated their own mental health challenges. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Start your weekend right with Dino's Night Out, Fridays from 2 to 4 p.m. on WRMN 1410 AM. Dino covers what's hot across the Fox Valley, from live shows to food fests and everything in between. Proudly sponsored by the legendary Arcada Theater at 105 East Main Street in St. Charles. Your home for unforgettable concerts, comedy, and more. Tune in on WRMN 1410 AM or stream at WRMN1410.com. Dino's Night Out, your guide to the weekend vibe.
The weather is getting better, and we know it's the time when ladders and DIYers come out. Before you start any new outdoor projects, ComEd wants you to know that electricity can jump from a power line to you and the tools you're using. So maintain a safe distance from any power lines. You can also call ComEd at 1-800-EDISON-1 to have those power lines de-energized the next time you do any type of work around them. Stay smart, stay safe, stay back. ComEd, powering lives.
Welcome back to AM 1410 WRMN. I am your host, Mike Napolitano, alongside my co-host, Nick Johnson, working the board for us over here on a beautiful Saturday morning here in Studio 14. You're listening to On the Rise, and on the fall are the Chicago sky. The sky is falling because it has not looked good for the sky before or after that All-Star break. Of course, we talked to Brian Teague, and we also talked to our friend Andy Dietrich about this Sky team throughout the season and their ups and their downs, mostly about, the downs going into the All-Star break with Brian Teague. And those downs continued as that hit an 8-game losing streak for this Sky team. They did get one win we talked about on Tuesday, August 5th against the Washington Mystics, but since then, nothing but losses. A Thursday loss, that was last week to Atlanta. Then Saturday, after we jumped off the mic, they were in Indianapolis to face the Indiana Fever. That was a 92-70 loss, losing by 22 points and almost letting that Fever team hit 100 without Caitlin Clark. Still without Caitlin Clark. Then it was Wednesday, August 13th, just the other day, 71-62, a loss to the Connecticut team that, they've been a juggernaut before. They're not now. They're 6-26. So if you're the Sky, you really needed to take it to the Sun, and you didn't. Haha, Sky, Sun. But, I mean, you cap things off with a loss to this new Golden State team that they're above 500. They're 18-15. They're a tough team. But not only did you lose to the Golden State Valkyries, you let them set records. Zandalasini, pardon me if I'm butchering that name, Cecilia Zandalasini, she hit a career high of 20 points in the Valkyries' 90-59 win over the Sky. That was their fourth straight win. That was the Sky's fourth straight loss. So in the last 13 games, the Sky are 1-12. Not the way you want to end your season, as we are coming close to wrapping things up here in the WNBA regular season. There's still a few games left. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games to go. The Sky are 8-25. And I don't think the Sky is the limit. Not to make, once again, another dad joke, another pun here, but wow.
You're on a roll. Keep going.
Wow, this is...
you're on a better roll than they are, so keep going.
There are no blue skies in the future, I don't think. No light at the end of the tunnel. That one's a little bit of a stretch.
All right, you got one more.
Clouds overhead. Storms are coming. Because this is
don't break your back reaching on that one.
This is... Yeah, wow. It's bad. It's bad.
Oh, jeez.
I really don't know how the Sky get back into the win column here. There's not a whole lot of... We kind of ran down the schedule last week. There's not a whole lot of freebie games or games that you could kind of coast, take the night off, and still expect a W, especially when you're an 8-win team. You can't coast ever. You need to go out there and play your best.
Has Angel Reese been playing? Has she been healthy? Has she been playing?
Yes.
Okay.
She's been back from injury. I'll say that. I haven't heard a whole lot on that front.
So obviously back from injury, that could still be a difference between being 100% and just being back and being physically in the building. So that could be a factor there for sure. So yeah, it's just a matter of, obviously, like we mentioned from time to time, just it could be a clear cut of just like lack of talent on the team, which could be the case. Just having to hop on in and either set yourself up in the draft or shooting for what could potentially be a nice little free agent prize in the upcoming free agency. So that would be, at this point, the only two suggestions for the time being. With how X amount, however many games are left, it's clear as day. Obviously, not going to make any playoff push, but just kind of get it in. Maybe at this point, play some spoiler, do what you can. I don't think there's any more games against the Fever, but if there was, like exactly that, just try and get your wins against those higher up teams so you can kind of mess up their playoff seeding and do what you can. That's my only suggestion at this point.
Honestly, yeah, their next game will be Tuesday, August 19th at home against Seattle. So the Storm will be coming to town. That's a 7 p.m. tip-off. Then it'll be on the road Thursday against the New York Liberty. That's a 6 p.m. start on Prime Video, leading into next Saturday's home matchup against the Connecticut Sun once again. That'll be a 3 p.m. matinee on CBS Sportsnet. The Monday game is, of course, after. We'll be on the microphones one more time, but I did want to give a little bit of a preview for that one because Monday, August 25th, at home against the Las Vegas Aces. That'll be the second jersey retirement ceremony that the Sky are doing. So get there.
Maybe that'll get some juice in the building. Just something like that,
honestly.
just to get the right mindset. Play a little extra oomph in your game that day. Exactly right. So
So that'll be Candace Parker getting her number 3 jersey retired. Both of her former teams will be in the building. So that'll be a nice little full circle moment, but don't expect a win from this Sky team. They did get the win on the night that they retired. Why am I drawing a blank? Allie Quigley's jersey number. Nobody was expecting them to win that game, but Las Vegas, they're 20-14. So an 8-win team going up against a 20-win team. I don't know if that's going to bode too well for Chicago. So WRMN hopes to get back out there. I know we've kind of missed the last couple games, but I think the Sky have as well because they haven't put any wins on the board. So we'll see if this season can get turned around and salvaged in any aspect. And going forward, we'll get a chance to have some winning basketball here in the city because I don't think it'll be coming from the Bulls. However, the Bulls did drop their the NBA dropped the 2025-26 schedule. I don't know if there's a whole lot to write home about this one, but I think the Bulls are just looking to coast once again and bring in the dollars as they are always one of the highest attendance rating teams in the NBA because of the lore of Michael Jordan and the 90s Bulls. But how long is that going to go until we say, okay, enough is enough? Moves need to be made because this trade deadline, trading picks for cash considerations and picking, was it 12th this year? The Bulls had or was it 11th?
11. Yeah,
11th.
Right, yeah.
That's just a slap in the face to Bulls fans everywhere. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you feel about this Bulls team going into this season. I'm not excited at all.
Yeah, no, the schedule release is kind of cool. They kind of made like a action figure type deal with Benny the Bull. That was actually, like I said, the NFL makes a really big deal with their schedule release, and the NBA kind of tries to copy. But the actual, the premiere, the first couple of games, Rockets and OKC, and then you got the Golden State Warriors against the Lakers opening it up. The following night is Cavs and Knicks. That's actually going to be probably pretty decent. Victor Wembanyama returning for the Spurs against the Dallas Mavericks, which I didn't know that this was a nickname for him. Day to Davis, Anthony Davis, day to Davis. I thought that's going to be a fun little thing to follow up there. But following up again, the current NBA champions going to a rematch right away with the Pacers on that Thursday, that following Thursday. Denver and Golden State. So like kind of you're already kind of seeing some reoccurring themes and some reoccurring teams in the premier, the hierarchy. So. They're honestly, from what I see, like they're gonna have a pretty strong stranglehold. You're basically gonna get primetime NBA basketball every single day, whether that's Peacock, NBC, exactly. Peacock being on NBC, ABC is gonna have the daytime games. ESPN, NBA Network is gonna be. You're gonna be able to get NBA basketball every single day of the week, I believe, from what I understand. So hopefully the Bulls get some good games that are worth watching. Obviously, like I mentioned, I guess they're also doing a Rivals Week too, the beginning of the end of January. So that'll be interesting to see who they deem the Bulls' rival. I'll have to kind of jump in and see there, but yeah.
At the end of January, you said?
Yeah, January 20th is what they deem a Rivals Week. And again, that's gonna they got everything: Prime, ESPN, Peacock. You're going to be able to stream everything anywhere and everywhere for the NBA now. So that's absolutely nuts.
Well, for that January 20th, the actual matchup is the Bulls at home against the LA Clippers, who of course have that newer logo. I'm going to get into new logos in just a second, but I mean, that's not really a rivalry.
Not in the slightest, no.
Then January 22nd, Bulls at Minnesota. Not really a rivalry.
No.
January 24th, the Bulls are home against the Celtics. I guess that could be it right there.
It's small glimmering. Obviously the Jordan series back in the day when he dropped 60. There was that early 2000s series or the 2008, 2009 series against the Celtics that went 7 games. That was pretty decent.
Yeah. And then you've got Los Angeles on Monday, January 26th. So
the Lakers are everyone's rival.
Everyone's rival, yeah. You've got the Pacers on Wednesday, January 28th.
That's more like it. That's a rival.
Little bit better.
There you go.
So, I mean, I guess so. When it comes to nationally televised teams, though, or nationally televised games with the Bulls, I'm not seeing too many rivals. I see February 5th against Toronto on Prime Video. That'll just be a play-in round preview, maybe, if Toronto can get there this year. If it's not the Bulls getting knocked out by the Heat, it's the Bulls knocking out Toronto. Bulls versus Brooklyn, Friday, January 16th on ESPN. And then Bulls versus the Orlando Magic, who have changed up their logo, it looks like, as well, or at least did a little bit of a rebrand on Monday, December 1st. That's a 6:30 game on Peacock, but not a whole lot of nationally televised games for this Bulls team.
So obviously, opener, the big. So when you type in notable Bulls games for the upcoming season, the AI overview gives you the season opener against the Pistons on the 22nd.
Yeah.
Halloween night against the Knicks. I like that.
Okay.
Against the Mavericks on January 10th. It'll be the Bulls' first sighting of Cooper Flagg, hopefully. Of course, anytime you play the Lakers, you're going to get a shot at playing against LeBron James, so that's going to be must-see for some as well. And then, of course, also playing the Houston Rockets, who you'll see Kevin Durant on there for the first time as well. So those are the suggestions when they come up there. Of course, any of the in-game tournament, they'll probably deem that as big games as well. Right. Anytime the Bucks are in town, because you'll be seeing Giannis. So, talent galore, obviously, but I don't know if you saw the top 5 most attended games last year. 4 out of the 5 were all Bulls games. So wow. You'll be seeing, no matter who, what, where, when, why comes into the United Center, you're going to be seeing a full house right there on the Madhouse on Madison.
No doubt. That's for sure. When we switch over, we're still talking Madhouse on Madison, but we switch over to the Blackhawks. Their schedule was released a little while ago as well. I'm only seeing one nationally televised game, although with the...
Honestly, rightfully so.
Rightfully so, but actually, though, with Bedard and with the resurgence of young players, I think you're going to probably see a couple more nationally televised games pop up as the NHL kind of sorts out their scheduling TV-wise. The only nationally televised game, of course, is the season opener, which will be on the road at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, October 7th, against the defending champion Florida Panthers. So they're throwing the Blackhawks to the Wolves, or I should say to the Panthers, right away. And Connor Bedard has his work cut out for him in his junior season. Everybody's saying a little bit of a sophomore slump, but his numbers were still above what was expected. You just didn't see the rest of it from the team, but I think one more year under guys like Frank Nazar, and maybe you start to see Artem Levshunov get brought up. Some of this defensive core start to step up. You'll have Spencer Knight for a whole season. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. Nothing much to write home about for the Blackhawks season. However, I know everybody has a very important date circled on their calendar. That is when Jonathan Toews returns to the United Center to play the Blackhawks on Monday, January 19th. Funny how that works. So the 19th, number 19, returning to the UC as a member now of the Winnipeg Jets, his hometown team. That'll be a 7:30 p.m. puck drop on Monday, January 19th. The other home game between the Jets and the Blackhawks will be Tuesday, March 31st at 7:30 p.m. They do go on the road twice to play Winnipeg. That's Tuesday, March 3rd at 7 p.m. and Thursday, that's a Thursday, October 30th at Winnipeg at 7 p.m. So some cool spots. I know Blackhawks fans are also circling the calendar for when Jonathan Toews will play Patrick Kane in the Detroit Red Wings. Those two have only faced off in international play when Canada used to play the United States. This time they'll get a chance to play each other as members of the Red Wings and the Jets, which will be interesting. So be sure to look at Winnipeg and Detroit's calendars for those dates as well. That's way far into the future. And before we jump too far into fall and winter, we still have summer seasons wrapping up. We still have the Chicago Fire, who drew with LAFC last time. I think that was last time we spoke. That was a 2-2 draw with LA last week. A goal from Jonathan Bamba in the 70th minute, but a penalty from Dennis Burenga in the 81st leveled things. So the Fire don't come away with the 3 points and the win, but each team solidifies a point. They're about even. Chicago is 10-6-9 with 36 points. LAFC 10-7-6 with 37 points. Carlos Terran got the scoring started for this Fire squad. The Fire will be in action tonight at home, so that add one more thing to the traffic list going downtown into the city. I mean, there's quite literally everything going on downtown. There's a game at Wrigley. There's a game at Soldier Field. There's a game at there's UFC at the United Center, and there's a game at Rate Field with the Savannah Bananas and the Firefighters. The Chicago Fire will be playing the brand new St. Louis City SC. That's a 7:30 p.m. kickoff at Soldier Field. And then when we look ahead at next week, the Fire, I believe, will be on the road, yes, against the Philadelphia Union next Saturday at 6:30 p.m. You can catch all that action on MLS TV, on Apple TV. And on the ladies' side of things, it is the Chicago Stars back in action. We talked about their little hiatus. They are back in action, but they're not playing over this weekend. They're playing Monday. That'll be a game at 9 p.m. out in Seattle against the Reign. The Reign are 7-3-5 with 24 points. Chicago 1-5-9 with 8 points. They did get a draw last game, so points on the board, but still looking for that second win of the season as we are deep into the NWSL season here. That is, like I said, a Monday night game. Kind of weird. Usually those are on weekends, but it's out in Seattle. Maybe they do things a little differently over there. 9 p.m. kickoff because of the time change, but just weird that it's on a Monday. Chicago drew with Bay FC in their last game. That was August 10th at 1 p.m. at SeatGeek Stadium. A 1-1 draw. That was that draw I was talking about with Shea Groom scoring the lone goal in the 42nd minute to get the Stars level after Taylor Huff for Bay FC was able to notch one in the 29th minute. So that is your Stars news. Actually, one more note I should mention about the Stars because we've talked about it already, but coming up, their next home game is actually Friday, August 22nd. That's a 7 p.m. start against the North Carolina Courage, so that'll be before we jump back on the mic. So Monday game on the road, Friday game at home. Then it'll be away on Sunday, August 31st to wrap up the August calendar for the Stars. The Washington Spirit will host that game, but then the Stars come back home, but not quite home to their normal pitch. They will be Sunday, September 7th at Northwestern for Northwestern Medicine Field on the lakefront to take on the Orlando Pride, which I know is confusing because we cover the Cougars here. Both fields are called Northwestern Medicine Field because they're both sponsored by Northwestern Medicine, but two fields completely different, far away from each other. That one will, of course, be in Evanston on the lakefront. Stars and Pride at 2 p.m. That will be a fun one. I will be there in attendance for that one. Hopefully the Stars can take it to the Orlando Pride, who have had their number all year this year and, of course, in playoffs last year as they are the defending champions of the NWSL. That's all I got.
There we go.
Do you have a Mamma Mia? Because I have a Mamma Mia.
Yeah. Obviously, well, I got two. One goes out to the bozo that parked out front. There's some clear white lines, my guy. Park in between them. That's all I got to say on that one. Two,
unbelievable.
Goes to the. I mean, it seems to be that everyone's kind of reacting kind of appropriately to it. No one's, but this punishment on the on the Michigan Wolverines for their this, you know, it's kind of it's comical. Like, everyone's kind of getting away with a little bit of slap on the wrist. Like I didn't know what this meant. Jim Harbaugh is walking away with a 10-year show cause order, which basically means that for the next 10 seasons he can't coach in the NCAA, which does not matter because he's the head coach of the Chargers.
Wow.
So exactly. So exactly. All like he can't do that. Sharon Moore gets a 2-year show cause order. Connor Stallions gets 8 years, 3 years for Denard Robinson. It's just like these are some of the easiest, just who cares fines. I think they got to give up their playoff revenue for 2 seasons. It's all right here. So hold on. A $50,000 fine, only $50,000. Just, on top of, they make millions in every year, but $50,000 plus 10% of the budget of their football program. So okay, so I can add a little bit more. Like I said, taking the revenue from the seasons afterward and all that. So, a very lax punishment for, if it's such a big, if college football, this big, hierarchy, why are they not punished for, doing the wrong thing? If this is such a big upstanding committee that they want to upheld. So to the NCAA, Mamma mia, what are you doing? Like, come on, get it together. Actually have some punishments that fit the crime here. My goodness. Brutal.
Honestly. That's unbelievable, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know what the appropriate punishment is, but it's definitely not this. It should be a little bit more.
Yeah, no doubt. One more note before I get into my Mamma Mia. We did mention that UFC is going on downtown tonight at the United Center. That'll be Dricus du Plessis, I believe it is, versus Khamzat Chimaev. Not sure as much. Not as familiar with him, but I know du Plessis is the favorite, I believe, in this heavyweight battle. Explosive middleweight title fight. This will be live from Chicago, 10 p.m. Eastern time. You can watch it on UFC and Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus, or you can bundle them, get UFC 319 and ESPN Plus. So hopefully we'll have. I know Brandon was super excited. I hope he could still go to it and cover it, but we shall see. My Mamma Mia is whoever did the scheduling for this weekend in Chicago, because like we said, Cubs game at Wrigley, Fire game at Soldier Field, UFC at United Center, Savannah Bananas at Rate Field.
Air and Water Show, like you said.
Air and Water Show, and I'm pretty sure there's a Tate McRae concert. I think, like I said, she was there. She was somewhere last night. Is it at the Allstate? I wonder if it's at Allstate. So it's a little bit outside of Chicago, but like still, who planned this? This is crazy. How is everybody going to get around? So you mentioned the scooters. That would be my other Mamma Mia, which is, yes, take scooters if you can. Take public transportation, I guess, if you can, to try to get around a little easier. However, I was on a run this past week on the path behind my house, and there was a kid on a motorized scooter. Back in my day, here we go. I'm going to sound like old man yelling at cloud. Back in my day, we actually had to push with our feet to move the scooter. Now with these motorized scooters, even when they die out, they're so heavy you can't even push the scooter. So I'm watching this kid with the scooter on the side of the road, popping the battery case open, replacing these weird-looking batteries into the scooter so it works again. And then that way it ends up working again. And then I come back on my run the other way. He left all the old batteries and the garbage on the side of the road.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Do better. Teach your kids to not litter. That's unbelievable. And also, why are they these spoiled brats running around on motorized scooters? It's just stupid. It's stupid.
Used to be a country.
Honestly.
Should have standards. You should have everything.
Yeah. Banana Ball back in action tonight. I will be there. Come see me if you're there. If you did, you must have gotten on a wait list and won the raffle to get tickets. And that was, I joined that raffle last October. So that's crazy. But yeah, definitely enjoy it tonight, Chicago. Stay safe, and we will talk to you next week. Myself, Mike Napolitano, Nick Johnston on the board. Thank you as always. We'll get Brandon Combs and Dalton Cooper back for next week. But stick around for the truth about Chicago sports right here on AM 1410 WRMN.
Systems run everything. Government, economy, media.